When you're at Yum Cha and the dessert trolley starts to come around, what kind of a person are you? Do you go for the dan padadu egg tart or tofu pho, the sweet tofu and ginger syrup? Or do you go for that very Australian Yum Cha dessert, the mango pancake? Now, as far as I can tell in my research, the mango pancake originated as part of Australian Yum Cha, not in Hong Kong or in Guangdong, but in Australia. I'm sure if I'm wrong, you'll let me know in the comments below. I have no doubt of that at all, but I love them. And I'm gonna show you how to make my favorite Yum Cha mango pancakes. Starts, of course, with the mango. You don't want one that's too ripe. You actually want it to be a little bit firm because I like that nice bitey texture of the mango in the middle. If you've never had a mango pancake before, it's essentially a quite elastic, eggy crepe that's then wrapped around a piece of mango that's covered in some very sweet whipped cream. So we're gonna start with all the elements. Mango first, just take the cheeks off this mango. And the best way to get mango out from the cheek, if you don't want to cut it into those squares, is just use a big spoon and just work your way around the mango. I just want to cut these into fingers about 1 centimetre wide, and these big pieces of mango are going to go inside my mango pancake. Of course, you can get a couple of extra little bits, not from the cheeks, just cut into those on either side of the stone. Now, of course, you can just have your mango just as is, but what I really like to do for my mango pancakes, and this isn't necessary at all, is just to throw these in the freezer so they get nice and frozen. It's almost like an ice cream then when you bite into it. A really good change of textures. Mango done, now it's time for the cream filling. 300 mils of thickened cream. And you do want to use thickened cream rather than pouring cream. And that's because thickened cream contains gelatin. And gelatin will help it set after it's been whipped. It makes it a little bit thicker now, of course, but after it's whipped, that gelatin's gonna make a really stable filling for the mango pancake. Another thing that'll help the stability, some icing sugar. Now I just want to whip that all together until it's quite stiff. I want to make sure I don't over whip it. I'm just going to put that in the fridge. And now for the crepe batter. I want to start with 6 eggs into this bowl here. I always start by cracking it into a little bowl first so that if anything goes wrong, get a shell, bad egg, that kind of stuff, you don't end up losing all the eggs that are in your big bowl. Just some sugar here, whisk that together with the eggs. Now into there, I'll just add some vanilla extract and some milk. I'll just transfer that to this bowl for the time being because it's going to come back in here straight away, but I want to use the bigger bowl to sift my flour. And you can see with this amount of flour and this amount of liquid, it's going to be a very loose batter, but that's exactly what we want. So I'll start to add my eggs back in here, a little at a time, trying to beat out as many lumps as we can. That looks really good. So the last couple of ingredients to go in, just some salt, a bit of vegetable oil, and it's sort of a pale yellow from the egg yolks anyway, but when you get these at Yum Cha, they're quite a bright yellow, and they do that with food colouring. If you didn't want to use food colouring, you could always use a bit of saffron instead. Just a few drops of yellow food colouring to really bring out the yellowness. I'll just strain that back into this jug and let it stand for about half an hour. So this next step is just like cooking pancakes or crepes, and if you want a good pancake recipe, I've got one just up here. But for this process, just a pan, non-stick if you can. If you don't have a non-stick pan, just a very simple wipe of oil through a regular pan is good. You want steady, even heat. But the only difference here is you want a lid that can cover over the top. I'll show you why. Rub a bit of oil into the bottom of my pan, a bit of my crepe mixture, and then just tilt the pan so that it gets all the way to the edges. Straight on with the lid, because I only want to cook one side of this pancake. It should come up really, really nicely, only about 2 or 3 minutes because it's a very thin crepe. So the goal here is no colour on the pancake. You don't want it to brown on the bottom, you don't want it to brown on the top obviously, so you want to keep the heat low and steady and cover it until it sort of steams itself into that kind of elastic consistency that you want. So you just flick up the edge of the pancake, and hopefully just peel it off and put it onto a plate covered with a tea towel. And fold the tea towel over so it doesn't dry out. Continue the process for the rest of the pancakes. So the crepes are here looking beautiful. They've cooled down now. You don't want them warm, otherwise they'll melt the cream immediately. I've pulled my mango out of the freezer. It's just nicely lightly frozen, and so it's time to roll the pancakes. A bit of a tip, if you don't have a non-stick pan and you used oil like I did making the pancakes, just put down a square of kitchen paper so you can blot any excess oil that comes from the pancakes. This is the side that was fried, and this is the side that was steamed, and the steam side's the one we want to use for presentation. So, the steam side down, a nice piece of mango in the center. And you can always trim the edges of the mango just so that they fit nicely in the center of your pancake there. A nice dollop of cream on top. You can put the cream on both sides, but you don't really need to. And you only want a little bit of cream. You don't want to overdo it with the cream. So just kind of cover the mango with it. Don't go too much over, because then when you roll it up, it's going to squeeze itself out. Roll the bottom of the pancake up, the edges in, and tuck them in quite well. It'll help when you're rolling all the way to the end. And then gently just kind of flip it over on its end and keep rolling until you have a completed mango pancake. Now, before you serve them, a good 10-15 minutes in the fridge will help the cream to firm up a little bit, but they are a pretty great yum cha mango pancake.